Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the money makers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
I'm Loral Langemeier. I'm known as the Millionaire Maker. These whole books here wrote 5 New York Times. I actually have 42 books. You only take that run, which honestly we'll talk about that because, when I took the run, maybe a couple 100,000 people were publishing. Right now, everybody publishes. Everyone's an author. Yep. And the distinction is just like social media is completely different. So I teach people how to make money. I'm self-made. I grew up on a farm in Nebraska. No conversation. Think and Grow Rich was my first pivotal book that was like, these are my people. This is a conversation that makes sense to me because the other one didn't. And how did I get on the journey? Got sick of hanging out with people who were doing it that old way. I've never been excited about having a job. I never wanted to be that person. I never wanted an MBA, massive bad attitude behind my name. I just wanted to get rich. I wanted freedom. I didn't know what that meant. And I think a lot of people actually don't know what that means. And I just kept walking the path. I think determination and knowing the feeling and lifestyle and wanting to buy whatever I want, whenever I want, was how I wanted to live. I had no path to it, which is probably why I got excited about writing my books and creating a path. There is a path. There is a system. There's a way to do it.
There are principles.
There are principles, really strong principles.
So in your journey through entrepreneurialism, you had a few different focuses. You started with Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I started way back. So first I started working my way through college. So I was a personal trainer and aerobics instructor because I didn't want to get a job. I got a job for 2 minutes. I said, this isn't going to work. And I was at the gym all the time anyway. So, you just slap on a little leotard and pay a lot of money to run around and you just do more push-ups than them. So that was kind of interesting. And then I raised my rates, which was interesting. So somebody at the gym said, so are you certified? And I'm like, absolutely. That next weekend I got certified. So I think that's what a lot of people think is there has to be this laid out plan because what it relates to, Alexander, is the structure of how we go through school and that you're going to have this whole plan and they actually give you a curriculum for 4 years and people park hundreds of thousands of dollars on this curriculum to get through college. But they won't park any money on learning about money because there isn't a curriculum or there hasn't been a curriculum. I feel like I've done probably the best shot at an integrated conversation for that money conversation. But the promise of everybody thinking they're going to know how to do it is never going to happen in entrepreneurialism. And there's just going to be this, jagged journey. And I think part of the principles and discipline is just continue to say yes and figure out who knows how to help you and just keep asking for help and keep that journey. So I didn't know what certification meant. So I went out and got certified, right? And then I got through my degree, which is a finance degree, and thought, well, what are my choices? Working at a bank, working at a financial institute, not doing that. So I do what everybody else does that don't want to get a job. I got a master's degree, but in exercise physiology. I thought, well, I'll just change the topic. So I got a master's in exercise physiology and started working with companies again, I do MSU, make shit up. So I was at a bank, working in the investment banking division just part-time because I wanted to see how rich people invested. And noticed that they didn't have a fitness center. Talked to HR and I said, why are you having all these unhealthy people walking around smoking, back injuries, standing all day, being tellers, blah, blah, blah.
Drinking Coke.
Yeah, drinking Coke. I said, eat donuts all the, they bring donuts in the morning, typical bank stuff. I said, give me 20 grand and I'll build you a fitness center down in the conference room. And that was my first fitness center. I just made it up with the bank president. He's like, all right, if anybody uses it, he said, it's 20 grand, no big deal. And I had that place packed. They had to blow out the whole conference room. I had the whole bank working out. That transitioned me totally into corporate fitness. And then I just would go to company to company to company, made stuff up. I said, it's going to cost you this much. I can put it in that conference room. And then we started building fitness centers for blue collar companies. So I became an expert at back injury prevention, got a bunch of physical therapists and chiros on my team. And we made hundreds of thousands of dollars in 21, 22, 23 during my master's program, just making up you just see niches. And I think some entrepreneurs, you're the same. We have visions and things are given to us. I mean, it's just the download, from the universe. It doesn't stop. And I also know it's because we keep doing it. We keep executing. It continues to be given, where I see a lot of entrepreneurs are given so much knowledge and resources and don't do a damn thing with it. That's a big spiritual thing on the part. It's huge. It's so huge. So people say, how did you make that up? It just keeps coming.
One step at a time.
Yes.
I think one of the core values that we hold at Measurable Genius is we embody incremental progress.
Yes.
And I've spent a lot of work.
Really
I've spent a lot of time working with John DeMartini and other mentors. And one of the common threads that I've observed among empowered people is two parts. They work with what's real right now.
Absolutely.
Right? They work with what's real right now. And when they work with what's real, they do only the next thing that they know they can do. They see the trajectory. They're willing to create a vision for trajectory. But unlike...
Not attached.
Right.
But not attached.
Yeah, unlike the rest of the world, for some reason, there's a principle in entrepreneurialism.
Thing, though?
Yeah. Like, so we're trained in school, set the goal 12 fucking years from now. And,
you can't even set it a year from now.
How do you even track that? How do you track that? So that's key. Like, what do you believe gave you the certainty or allowed you to be present with the idea of it's okay that I just do the next step? Like, what is that for you? Why are you and I able to do that? Why do so many people struggle?
All the time.
Like, they're thinking, I need to be fucking perfect. If I can't have the Tesla, I don't want to buy the Ford. I want that now. The world owes me something.
Ford moves you.
Right.
It starts moving. Just move.
Right.
I think that part of it, so there's a mission beyond yourself, right? I think we both know that we're contributing, even though we're contributing here and now. I'm going to say as Buckminster Fuller said, right, the ripple effect is caused in action beyond what anything we could imagine. It occurs.
So there's a faith there.
Oh, there's a massive faith.
Okay, so
but it's not like faith, like the Catholic and Christian community says, oh God, help me. To me, that's desperation. That's not faith.
Okay,
that's like pathetic. And not that I don't believe in that. I think that you have to cause what it is you want, and what you want can be tomorrow, which still causes the ripple, versus that big goal setting. But I think so many people are contaminated by that educational structure of, I need to know my 4-year curriculum. Can you make me a millionaire in 3 to 5 years? I don't know. I don't know how you behave. If you behave properly, you'll get there.
Yeah, does your product suck? I don't know.
Right, and does it actually do anything for anybody? And are you actually going to get off your ass every morning and do sales calls? Do you actually believe in what you're doing? So, God, that's a really good question. What causes me to do it? I just do it.
Well, okay, why do you believe in yourself? Because you talk faith. Okay, tell me about that. You started on a farm. Like, what evidence did you have?
Oh, I was always extremely successful. So I had parents that pushed the hell out of me, which was interesting because the older two, we were pushed. Very young parents. My parents were teenagers. I said they were babies having babies. So, I was in everything. My dad was a great athlete. I was running. I was shooting 200 baskets today. I was riding horses. I think because they were teenage, I'm totally making this shit up. This is what I think looking back, why they were so intense about having us at everything and being excellent at everything. I think because, they were sophomores and juniors having babies and had, my mom had to drop out of school because they wouldn't let pregnant women go to school back then. So I think they imposed what they wanted to do for their life onto us, right? And we were pushed beyond limits. So, I would win races. I still have. This is the funniest thing. People say, what's some other thing you're proud of? So I ran so much. I still have from my 9th grade year the school record in the 440. Isn't that funny after all these years? I graduated, 1983, and here we are, 2017, and no little legs have beat my legs. I think that's quite odd. So I was pushed very, very hard by parents. That's the only reason I could make up why I was pushed so hard. But then that just became an addictive behavior.
Well, you learned to take on challenges.
Well, and succeed. We had not just goals, we won. It was never enough to be number 2. And so I just took on that really young. I played this is other funny little thing. And I was in everything because we were in a small community. So I played 5 instruments so we could have a band. I played the drums, we had a marching band. I played in symphony orchestra with the French horn for 14 years. I've done so much shit. So I think it just became a master of a lot of things, but then a master of none. So when I finally got to college, where it was kind of my life, my choice, fitness was always my thing. And I just excelled at all of that, which is why I went on for a long time. Because I had the finance degree is how the corporate fitness stuff came, because I needed to use that analytical side of my brain so I could analyze how unhealthy people would affect a company's bottom line. And so I would put those numbers together at 21, 22 and say, you give me $100,000 to build a fitness center, I'll save you millions in healthcare, and I could prove it.
And you had certainty in that.
I had certainty because so the evidence is that I always had a result.
Yeah.
So I could lean into the results. Even when things get fucked up in my life now and things aren't working, and it's not all the time that everything is working. 2008 happened. Holy shit, cash flow went to hell. You can rely on evidence that I did it before, I'll do it again. I did it before, I'll do it again. And you just rely on that. And the more evidence I think you put in your bank, not just bank, but life bank, life experience. I was 34 when I got pregnant. Right? I'm going, holy shit. He wasn't going to be a father. I knew I was going to be a mom. I'd already gone the other route. Wasn't going to do that again. I thought, I'm just going to figure it out. I had no idea how to figure it out. But it's like, I've been here before. I can figure out anything. So there's a faith and a trust. But I do think it's because when you have success and you can rely on it, depend on it, I lean back into that. You get stronger and stronger and stronger.
So I think there's an opportunity here for me to bring up the idea that a lot of people are setting goals for themselves where they don't perceive they're successful. And a principle that I really work hard to help my clients see clearly, and anyone listening to this podcast, is that most people are setting goals that are not achievable for them because they've subordinated to some fantasy of what life should be like or who they should be like or what someone else's life is like, and they go and they try to live someone else's life. And so whether that was your parents' genius where they were aligning your challenging circumstances with things where they felt that you enjoyed it, so you were willing to endure it and then be successful in it. I think there's a really strong lesson in that says if you're setting goals that are congruent with what's truly most important to you, you have a higher probability to take on the challenges to achieve that, therefore achieve those goals. And John would say that
and
whenever you
say achieve and win.
Right, achieve and win, sure.
Achieve and win. Not just achieve them, like win at them.
Yeah, like step outside your comfort zone.
Be the best at them.
Yeah, so I think like that's really, really amazing. Like as a business owner starts to set and achieve meaningful goals instead of setting and achieving bullshit goals, which they'll never achieve anyway, they give themselves permission to play a bigger game. Have you experienced that to be true for you as well?
Always.
So do you feel that was by accident, that you just had the genes or you just ended up in a circumstance where you were able to take on challenges aligned with your values, or do you think your parents helped to put you there?
I think originally they helped put me there. I'm pretty strong-willed. I think actually most people are strong-willed. I think they get weak over time because they keep doing hitting their head on a wall and getting bruised and not moving. So maybe you should hit a different wall.
Try something else.
Try something else. You're bleeding to death.
Yeah.
It's not really working. So I think they did it consciously, but I also knew what I wanted and did what I didn't want. I call my mentoring program is Big Table, like it's 7. I mean, if you ask my mom, I was a pretty strong-willed child's raised. So I went and sat literally out of the little tables and the card tables, from the big family at the adult table because I knew I would take that conversation early on. So I think part of it is your DNA and how your character was born, but also putting yourself in situations. Like I knew, 18, 19 years old, I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, but I knew the conversation, like I knew enough from Think and Grow Rich. So I would seek out things. So I think the other thing too is I seek help a lot. And I love being mentored and coached. So do you. I mean, we're pursuers of knowledge and new ways and thinking. So, I mean, it was like, 1920 when I met Bob Proctor. I came up with $25,000 out of my ass. I had no idea I was going to pay for it, but I knew I wanted that community of people. Although they were all 20 years my senior, I wanted that community of people, like personal development, breakthroughs, all this kind of new language that I was learning from the farm. So I'm always in pursuit of new. Always in pursuit of new. And then I think it continues to be strengthened by the success and confidence and evidence, I call it. Like I have a hell of a lot of evidence.
That's a critical thing. I think that you can find evidence in your life to support really anything you want to believe.
You can.
And I know that a lot of people who are perceiving themselves as disempowered or feeling like they're unsuccessful, they have a tendency to look for evidence to support that.
Absolutely, self-fulfilling.
What would you recommend that someone can do to free themselves from that or break that cycle and step out and start looking for alternatives?
I speak of it more and more and more because I'm watching so many people do that. And as you get older in life, I just passed the 50 mark and I'm seeing more and more people say I'm too old. Like I got the next 50. We're like, let's go.
I mean, medical technologies.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're going to live to hundreds.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to watch how many people at certain benchmarks, like my kids are gone, I'm now 50, or I've just had kids, like they will find the evidence to be right about being still.
Right.
About being still, and then they get to be right about it. The self-fulfilling, I don't even understand that because I just don't, I like having my ass kicked. So I put myself in situations to be held accountable, to see new things, to offer new opportunities. What would I say to people? So modeling. I think you got to model. I think the fastest way that I've ever learned is I get next to the very person that I want to be like. I mean, close. Like I went to Bob Proctor's house.
Right.
Because he kept saying at 21, you need to get your life supported. I'm like, I'm 21, single, I rent an apartment. I mean, what kind of help do I need?
Yeah.
And then all day long we developed Expression of Your Power, which is still one of our most powerful, programs. And all we did is work all day at the table, create, design, flip chart, and all day long we were served and taken care of. Right, somebody brought us little snacks and then lunch and then dinner, and we worked for probably 15, 16 hours. And it's amazing energetically, which is the other thing I think people need to learn, this distracting energy that people do all day because they don't energy manage. But to be focused, I mean, the energy actually builds and builds. I mean, we developed the most extraordinary program in one day, unfocused and uninterrupted. Focused and uninterrupted because we allowed our lives to be supported. And so I went home and I never cleaned my house since. I hired a house cleaner. I don't want to cook. I don't like to cook. I won't. I mean, I'll do the most minimal. Ask my kids. And it's fine. So I think part of it is learning early and modeling. But every place I go, I model. Like if somebody's doing something I want to do, like right now the equity crowdfunding space is hot. So what I do, I got myself on the equity crowdfunding stage as main keynote. I don't know. I got myself on 5 stages this year that most people said you'd never be because you're a woman and it's a male space. Well, I'm on them. So I said probably ungodly goals that most people don't think. And I'm willing to get help. I'm willing to pay for help.
And you believe in your own value.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, that comes from evidence. And evidence from the standpoint, I know that there's my result, right? I mean, if you got a result and then you continue to get a result.
I think a lot of people lower their sense of self-worth by doing low priority bullshit. You just mentioned I don't do my own cleaning. And I don't know how to prove this principle, but to me it's proven when I do low priority bullshit, things that I perceive to be less valuable than what I'm worth, my sense of value goes down. And to the degree that I lower my sense of self-worth or the worth of my company by doing low priority bullshit because I've told myself a story, I can't afford it, again looking for evidence, that's a never-ending downward spiral.
Well, and it's easy to look for evidence because you look just like your checkbook. Depending on what day, anybody could do that.
I can find any reason to get upset in a day, like any reason. Like there's days I wake up and I'm just like, I'm going to be mad today, you know? And it's just, I don't have to wait too long to find the first thing.
No, you actually don't have to get out of bed.
Right.
mean, you could make quite a list.
Yeah, it'd be like, I just make the decision to stay in bed and now I'm mad. Right? I mean, we all do that. But the question is, so like when someone has gone through the process of lowering their self-worth or doesn't honor their self-worth, and then they hear you say something like...
But everybody does that.
Everybody does it, but then they hear you say something like, go get a cleaner, and that person is like, whoa, I don't afford it. What would you suggest they do? What can they do right there in that moment of, I can't afford it?
Go sell something that's of high worth.
Go sell something, okay?
Because, cash is a big part of people's lives, and sales is what causes that to happen, or creates some evidence about your worthiness again. Right? I can look at those books and remind myself
how worthy
what
you
I've
are.
done.
I have clients, I know when they haven't sold something in a while because their tech support calls go up. I'm the evidence. They're complaining. They're like, well, I'm not making money. Whose fucking fault is it? Right? The computer's broken. The website funnel's fucked. It must be something else outside of me. Right? So it's like when my clients start using periods, I know they haven't sold something in a little while.
Yeah. But that's really true. I mean, I think and I wrote about it in the US Energy book too, is like you can easily pick on your entire day. Like there's a couple consultants in the world right now that are just hitting it really big, and I just can't even stand them because I think they're just so low worth. So what they'll do is they'll come in, they'll give you 150 things that they could do that you should be aware of inside your company. I said, if I'm kidding, I could do that in 1 hour. I said I could put my team around me and in 1 hour come up with 150 things I should probably fix. But that's not going to help fix them. Right? So it's focusing on the things you can do. So it's back to our original conversation of what's in the day, what's the next thing. I remember last August, I walked into a seminar where I had hired other people to work for me at the point, and I was just beyond furious. So this can't be what it is. I didn't know where I was going to take it or what it was going to become, but it's back in full steam, and the evidence is coming, right? You just start seeing it. So when you say you can't even goal set, I think you can goal set maybe 3 to 6 months. With technology, you're damn lucky if you can do it in a year, and you don't know your team, you don't know where you're going to be. Plus, I think long-term goal setting doesn't allow for any flexibility of what you want.
Scaling up Rockefeller habits, they say explicitly, you have a BHAG, 25 years, maybe some 5-year objectives, and then you have a 3-month specific plan, and anything between that 3 months and the 5 or the 25 years is a guess.
Huge guess.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Gates calls it throwing spaghetti on the wall, right? You just throw a whole bunch of shit on the wall and hope something sticks.
Yeah, which isn't the same as predicting, though, right? Because you can predict industry trends and we can predict where a market might go.
Right.
But it's very, very difficult to determine, like, what specifically is your business going to look like.
Right.
Because you have to respond to the market.
Quickly.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about wealth. We've talked about business. Principles of wealth building. A business owner has a business. A lot of the people that we work with and our audience are business owners who have a product. They have served customers. They're operating. What can they do to escape, for example, that level where they're feeling run by their business instead of them running their business? What can they do in terms of wealth?
So heading back from August to what I call the Millionaire Maker principles, and really, what made me a millionaire, what made millionaires, and then there was this gap where honestly I just stayed in the teaching people to make money phase too long. So to that point, what I find with most business owners is they don't put enough money away.
Not saving enough?
They don't invest.
Okay.
Yeah. So not only just save, but then put it to work.
Yep.
Right? So when you make it invested, so there's a percent all the time going into investment dollars that provides them a different path to the business being the only cash flow. It's critical. So hard rules about, if you make 500,000, whether it's 50,000, 20,000, I don't care if it's 2,000, but in the pattern of putting money toward investment dollars.
Paying yourself first.
Absolutely. But in very specific, double-digit return investments. So I don't find that they invest outside. They keep putting all their money back into the company. Mm-hmm. Real estate people do the same thing. They're over-leveraged in real estate. They don't have enough diversity in other, markets. So investing would be the first thing I would tell business owners. And then the other piece, which is shocking to me, is how many business owners operate outside of a corporate structure. They're sole proprietor, sole trader. Companies make money. It is proven. It's not even a fact. It's not even a suggestion. Right? So when I find somebody who's making hundreds of thousands or even $1 million and they're still a sole trader and they're not using limited company or America LLCs or C Corps, I don't even know how the hell they made it that far. But the amount of money that they're overpaying in taxes is extraordinary, and there's no coverage for the wealth they're building, so why even do it?
Right.
It's just shocking.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would say make sure that you are incorporated properly, maximize taxes, and get your money invested. So I have come up with this matrix, and it's interesting how many people say, so do you make it, keep it, invest it with the team in order? I said, no, you do it all at once. So you're making the money inside your company, you're investing at the same, it's all simultaneous action, which causes the business owner to get out of their own way. And
really,
provide them more money.
Really, it would only be in order at the beginning because I'm assuming there's some momentum to it. And so as you speed that momentum up, eventually
Well, and I would hope even
it,
if there's a little bit that they're putting away, they got to do something to that fact to become more on the business versus in the business. It's sales, right? It's sales. It's team, getting the right team. I think a lot of beginning business owners, I think we're all been a party to it. You hire what you can afford.
It's hard to take a risk versus
what you need.
Right. So hiring low, for example, instead of hiring the right person at a premium.
Oh yeah, I just had conversations today with folks who are hiring people that I already know. It's super substandard, and it's like, they're going to just waste some money and time.
Yeah. Just
hire what you need.
Totally. Yeah. I think a lot of business owners are like, I don't know, do I spend $2,000 on a website that does fucking nothing, or do I spend $20,000 over a year to build a machine that makes me cash online? Mm-hmm. Right. And that it comes from context and from faith and from being able to see far out. And I think not just believing what you're told either, right? How can a business owner transcend the bullshit in the marketplace? How do they know who to hire, who not to hire?
Network. But it's network with the people that you want to be like and who've already made it.
So you selected a mentor.
There's too much networking amongst peers.
Incestuous.
It's disgusting. Well, it's their way they get to be. And here's what I find with a lot of people. They're the biggest in their pond, but they're too scared to jump in the ocean. I'd say that's the majority of entrepreneurs. Right? They're the biggest fish in their little pond, but they won't jump in the ocean with the big whales.
You know what? And
scared to death to live.
I think they all know what they should do next, actually, because I work with a lot of business owners, some of the different stages, and oftentimes they'll come to the same meeting over and over and over again with the same problem. And my response to them, and I'll just use a specific example without naming them, is they kept coming and they kept coming. They're like, I'm not making any money. I'm not making any money. I'm doing my affirmations. I'm doing my spiritual work. I'm doing my marketing work. I'm like, I'm just trying to find new customers, but they're focusing on operations. They're not doing the one activity. And oftentimes I just look them in the face and say, listen, go fucking cold call, right? And in this example, he's like, fine. Like, he finally got to the point. I had said it to him like 3 times. I was like, go fucking cold call. He's like, okay, fine. I don't think it's going to work or whatever. Right. Started making cold calls, and he went from doing 0 hours. He's met his quota this month of now doing 350 service hours a month. And he would be like, I love calling. I love it. Even if they're not cold calling, they're warm calling from that database. But again, if you become peers and friends, right? So people say, well, we don't hang out and become peers and friends, because I'm not a peer and a friend. I'm a mentor, and you're going to pay for my time. Mm-hmm. So I don't do a lot of that. Like women with, sometimes, here's my business card. Let's go have a lunch or wine or coffee. I said, no, give me your credit card and we'll begin. Right. Yeah. My time is money.
But a lot of people don't have that. They'll do the whole rapport. You don't need the report. You have the result I want, I'll pay for it. And a lot of people won't pay for it. And the other thing, too, I'm going to talk about convenience. I think a lot of business owners have, like even here today in the room, right? Geo-target. Well, I can't come to your workshop because I'm doing something else that weekend. Well, they get on a fucking airplane.
Come to the place where the workshop is.
Yeah. We have it every month. It's just you get on the plane. Are you kidding? I'm going to for your small tuition, I'm going to come to you? No, I don't think so.
Do you find that there's
the convenience factor of business owners is ridiculous?
I was going to address that. So one of the things that I've observed is a lot of business owners come to the market thinking, you have to guarantee my results, right? They go to a specialist or a website guy or SEO person. They come to us as a technology firm or business transformation firm, and they're like, how are you going to guarantee me my results? And so we do a lot of Facebook ad stuff. And the thing about Facebook is there's 4 variables and we control all of them, right? We control the product. We control who we're targeting in terms of audience. We control the headline and copy, and we're controlling the ad spend. Like, we control all 4 of those. And we can figure out who the audience should be. We can figure out if the headline and the copy is working.
Right.
We can figure out if our targeting is accurate. And then we're going to find out if your product doesn't suck, right? And only after those 4 things does it become predictable to spend money on Facebook ads.
Yep.
But yet the customer often comes to the table thinking, if I hire you, I'm shifting accountability from my business to you, right?
Yep.
And the same thing I think goes with education, right?
Yep.
They're thinking, well, I paid you for this program. How come my life isn't different? And I think that it's really important to communicate to entrepreneurs, like, I'm facilitating your experimentation, particularly as a business transformation
really
company.
Good.
I'm facilitating your experimentation. There's best practices. There's certain ways you should absolutely configure Facebook. There's certain principles in how we can convert on a website or a landing page. There's principles to human behavior.
Yep.
But we're experimenting within the context of your product, your offer, your marketing, your message, your brand, your personal style, whether people fucking like you or not, whether you're personable, whether you even give a shit about them, or if you're just trying to make money. Like, none of that is in our control. What would you say to the business owner who's listening to this thinking, oh, fuck, that's me?
Get responsible for your own shit.
Right? And I would also say, if you're feeling that way, you're probably selling shit that's not important.
Exactly.
I see all of that as feedback that you're selling something or your business isn't totally built in a way where you believe it.
No, and I've been through those phases. I mean, anybody who's watched me for almost 2 decades, I mean, the further away I got from being, like, I'm very involved. I mean, right now I'm probably more involved, but we're also on a trajectory of more investment dollars, more investment projects, more fun. But I've also gotten really clear, like, if you're not willing to get mentored and coached and learn this conversation, I don't care how much money you have. Like today, some lady pitched me, I want you to invest in my thing. I said, then invest in the mentoring program because you don't even know this conversation, right? So if you're not willing to lean in and learn and have the right conversation, I'm not interested at all. So having rules around that, like, I see most of my clients have my cell phone and text, and some of my most senior A-lister mentors told me to do it. They said most people that will be respectful and they'll never abuse it. And the babies like, oh, nobody gets my phone. Because I used to be that person. No one's going to get my cell phone. Everybody's going to bother me.
I'm this private individual. Yeah. You have to fucking get access through my bodyguard.
But I'll tell you, the further I got away, and I put a team, even though they were millionaires and they were really good coaches, they weren't me. They didn't have the experience and the depth and the breadth of the care, right? And we went through a lot of rocky shit. Look at the internet. I got shit all over the internet. Would love to talk about that too. So, get really clear what your goals are, what your mission is. You can always make excuses for everything and get responsible for it. Like, at the end of the day, it's you, Mr. and Miss Biz owner out there. But there's A-listers who, why are they still on the circuit at 70 years old?
Yeah.
They have to be for cash flow because they never built their life right.
They didn't save and invest. They didn't build secondary income.
They didn't build any of that. So I think you got to get really, really, I love your experimentation. You got to let people experiment. You got to ask for help. Find the evidence.
I like to push the accountability back because it proves if they truly value it. And I work with a lot of business owners up front or when I'm qualifying a business owner, what I look for that I see all the time is people with a fantasy of what business ownership should be like. Like, entrepreneurialism and hustle is the new fucking, celebrity status of our generation, right? Like Gary Vee and these YouTube celebrities, right? People look at that and they're
selling?
Like, well, in his case, he's selling work, right? Gary Vee.
He's selling wine.
And he's selling wine and he's selling his marketing company. But he works, right? He's not sitting in VaynerMedia thinking, I'm going to fucking get out of this place. He's thinking, I'm going to be here till I'm dead, right? And he has a scaling organization to prove it. I meet business owners time and time again who are saying to me before they've even started their business, the only reason I'm starting this business is to get out of it at the end and enjoy the benefits of it.
Got it.
And my response to them is like,
good luck.
It's not going to fucking work.
Jobs did it till the day he died.
Right? It doesn't fucking work. The minute a business owner decides he's done serving, entropy takes over. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen, and I'm sure you see this all the time.
That's what I meant. Like, the further I got away from it, the worse it became. The further I'm back into it, the bigger it's become.
Automatically. And it's not because of the work you're doing. It's because there's some function in the universe
that provides the service and provides the focus.
If you care.
If you care.
Yeah.
And more than that, back to your accountability. So here's one of the things that I would tell a lot of people, and I don't know if you do it in your contract. So when people say, well, are you going to guarantee me the result? And I say, well, here's the list of stuff you're going to do, and here's the stuff I'm going to do, sign the contract. So when they say, well, your stuff doesn't work, I said, did you do all this? 99% of the people who bitch on the internet about me are lazy, didn't do anything, didn't do their sales calls. Let's be honest, cash flow comes from sales. Whether you're going to do it or not, you've got to figure out how to sell people your service or product. So that is one way that I push back accountability. It's like, well, did you do it? Well, no. Then why are we having a whining conversation again about the same behavior that you want to justify? One day is going to be different because you're comfortable.
Or like, I'm not a therapist.
Oh, got it. No. Therapy's like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about the internet.
Okay.
I call it the bathroom wall. You can write anything about it.
It's true.
And more people write. You know, what I've learned to find out is anybody who's successful, even Gary Vee, even Tony Robbins, Oprah, Brendan, we all have shit.
They all do.
In fact, here's my new fun thing. If you're not on a rip-off reporter scam, you're not playing big enough.
John would say that to the degree you have support, you're going to have challengers, right? And he'll use Donald Trump as an example, right? Donald Trump has supporters and challengers, right?
To the highest level.
Right, and to the degree that you're willing to endure the challenges, the degree you'll be able to attract and have the support. It's not the other way around. Everyone loves being supported. You have to be willing to stand up in the face of those challengers, and those challenges are proof of your success. So I'm all with you. I want to create all kinds of fucking enemies. If any of you want to come and start a fight, like, come fight with me, because I think that's the funnest shit, right? In fact, I intentionally create frenemies. I'm like, well, I pick some people in my industry, and I'm like, I'm going to fucking destroy you. I'm not really going to, but like, I'd rather create and foster a sense of competition than wait for it to happen.
It creates a creative conversation. It creates more stimulus around the conversation and more challenges. So I love Trump as an example because you're so right. I mean, the amount of challenges, if people knew the challenges, I mean, there have been things throughout my career, my trajectory, that I should have just stopped. There's just no way. At one point after 2007, 8, 9, so people meet, right, in our community. You've been around Live Out Loud. So I'll introduce you to so-and-so would meet you. You guys go do a deal together.
That's your fault.
It's my fault. So I live in lawsuits because I do introductions to people and I teach the conversation money. So, and because I have a principle of not going bankrupt, then I'm the last one standing. So you invest with Susie screws it up, she goes bankrupt, you have nowhere else to. Well, I'll go to Laurel because she's still standing and I need my money back. And God damn it, the economy went down and, I should do it. And I'm speaking to several of those people who are big wimps out there still sitting on their ass whining behind the scenes. I just send a little cease and desist and why don't you grow up and get a life? Because they're not willing to endure the challenges. So, I mean, that's a big one, or I could have just laid it all down and just hit the big B button and said, fuck you guys, you guys are irresponsible. I never told you to invest. I wasn't even in the deal. I didn't even take your money. And no one could ever prove it, which is why I've walked from all of it. But that's a lot of the stuff that's out there. I mean, being a single mom, most people would have just ran home to Nebraska and say, I'm going to move in with mom and dad again. And
make life easy.
Make life easy. I intentionally, the other thing too, and you said it on one of my videos, you said, I love eating quality food, living where I want. And you just had this great phrase on one of my videos that we did.
Is this a video I've never seen yet?
Oh, it's so good.
I think it's the one I've never seen. God, I filmed a video like 2.5 fucking years ago.
It's so good.
They keep telling me how amazing it is. I never get to see it.
So one of the things I did early is I just lived in great places. So when I left Nebraska, like growing up like that, and I was invited to, go in the offshore oil rigs and live in New Orleans. I lived in the French Quarter. I'm not going to live out in the burbs where it's cheap. I'm not going to live in some stupid apartment. I'm going to live in some cool, eclectic little place. So from then on, and then when I started investing, so I realized, well, you're not going to really invest where you live. So, I do really interesting little markets like Oklahoma and Kansas. So from then when I moved to LA, I moved to Manhattan Beach. So I've always lived in like the coolest and expensive places to live. So it's just funny that I said that because I haven't really put it together like that. So I invest where I wanted. I lived where, I just wanted to always live. I don't know. What was my point in telling you all that?
What I was thinking to myself as you were saying that is that's a way that you created accountability for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like I hire people because I'm a visionary. I'm a strategic master. Like I love building businesses in my mind. I can see the workings of a business. I can pull the business apart and I can put systems in place that will run the people and the technology to achieve the result. But if you ask me to build a website, I will sit in front of my computer and procrastinate. And that's just like my values.
It's because you don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. And I perceive it as a lower value activity. And so there's a whole bunch of reasons. And so my business started to grow the most when I acknowledged that hiring people created an accountability system for me to create and take the actions necessary.
That's what I was saying about why I left. Yeah, thank you. You
Yeah.
reminded me. Yeah. So I was always accountable. I mean, I lived in very expensive places to produce the money for
You have to go work now, make
and
the money.
Accountability. And the thing I want to go back to that I think is really important because I haven't framed it like that, but I love doing 3 things. I love teaching, I love marketing, and I love selling. And when I put selling, I put that also in the capital raising. I love raising capital and, being that investor energy and the deal making energy. And anything below that is like a lower value task.
I mean, you can make how much per hour doing that stuff? The tens,
It's
6 figures, 7 figures sometimes, right? So how do you do an $80 an hour job and feel good about yourself?
Well, and here's the thing for people listening, because I think some people hear it as arrogant. The people who clean my house, they love to.
They love that.
That's what their business is. It is not. So for them, that is their highest priority activity, right? And it's our priority activity to do what we're doing so we can pay them. Like, I don't want to build a website. I don't want to write. I wrote 42 books. I've never typed a day in my life of that. I don't want to do it, right? Somebody can do it, and you can hire the people to do it.
There's a principle that says maximum complexity can only be managed by maximum simplicity. And so the irony of a business owner who believes he should be doing busy work or complex bullshit is that he's actually robbing himself of the opportunity for growth. The only way for someone to truly be able to run a company like Apple, like Steve Jobs, is to become as maximally simple a person as he could be, right? You can only focus on 3 things. If you're focusing on a million things, then you don't have the brain power, the attention, and the decision-making faculties to lead and to govern those systems. So I think a lot of business owners hold them back because they feel like they have to justify their position. I mean, I personally felt, if I'm not fixing computers and if I'm not teaching the website team how to do what's right, or teaching Everett how to get into Facebook business analytics and see how the data works. Like, if I'm not doing these activities, because I was taught as a child, motor action equals work, right?
In equals success.
Right, and then not that the application of intelligent strategy against leverage points in a business to maximize profit equals success, then I'm going to automatically operate according to that, and I'm going to lower my self-worth again and not be accountable to what's truly most important. And furthermore, the growth of the business, if it's dependent on me as the visionary, depends on my willingness and ability to give myself permission to dream bigger, which I'm not going to do if I'm cleaning my fucking carpets.
And you have to be available to be with other visionary and other strategic, successful business owners. And I think another breakdown, the lower priority activity is like, really, that's probably the number one thing I see people do constantly. I get on a coaching call, and they're building their webinar, they're writing their book, they're doing the shit they don't need to be doing. It's all hireable. And they're not spending enough time in higher thinking conversations about success and modeling and what you're doing.
Yeah.
And not enough international either. Like, there's too many geo-targeted. Like, Canada's a safe little world, but America's not. America's like...
And travel widens perspective. I mean, traveling simply to have different experiences changes the brain.
Completely. And to live in different cultures. Like, live in them, not just visit them. Yeah.
So if there's one thing you want to communicate to the audience, what would that be? What's the one message you want to make sure that you leave every person that you touch with?
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself. I was going to. Mine would be give yourself permission. Yeah. Give yourself permission to do something great.
Well, expect to be held accountable. Expect to be held accountable because you are. Your results are in your bank account.
Yeah,
the feedback's already in your life. So it's either, and I think be responsible for it. Like, you created it. Whatever it is, you created it.
Take accountability. Set better goals. Incremental steps. Believe in yourself.
No low priority shit.
And stop doing low priority shit.
I really like the way you language that. No more low priority shit.
It's critical.
Sit in the front of the bus, not the back.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks for spending some time with me.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.